welcome to Starting in the Bench with Tim V. It's a place where normal people can talk about the sports they love. And on today's topic, we're going to be talking about Draft 2020. Different teams that are going to be drafting new players, and new players bring some kind of heat and new fresh face to the league. This is going to be very interesting because a lot of teams have done poorly, especially the top 10 that we're going to be talking about right now, and how these prospects can influence the team, not only the athletes, but as well as the league and the player and the teams that are going to be drafted too. It's a very interesting thing, and I've already been thinking about this for the past week, and how I think it's going to be exponentially better on those teams. But we're going to be talking one by one. All right, so the number one prospect that everybody's talking about is Joe Burrow. He's been playing for LSU, and he has been such an amazing quarterback. And whenever he had some arm issues, but a lot of people say that he's going to be drafted by the Bengals as a quarterback. Bengals have done 2-14, and this is going to be, I guess, sort of interesting because Bengals have not been a great team the past 2-3 years, and whoever says that they've done amazingly last year or 2 years ago, they're false. This is not a very interesting team to watch, but a lot of people are watching, and you might hate me if you're a Bengals fan, but I understand that there's not a lot of interesting things, and I think that the only time that they actually won the game was playing against the Patriots, I think. And the Browns. I really need to look it up, but no, I'm sorry, not the Patriots, but they definitely won against the Browns, and the Browns have been such a stacked team, but unfortunately, Bengals 2-14. So I think they're gonna draw Joe Burrow, but they're number one pick, right? It could be to a point where Joe Burrow goes to a different teams, and Bengals just bank on something that they're gonna be spending on in the next options, right? Next couple of years, right? So they could get like number one picks from something else, get better with the quarterbacks and the athletes they have right now, but it all depends. Now, the next one is Chase Young. He's a defensive end, and it will most likely Redskins who's going to be drafting him. Redskins are 3-13, and Redskins definitely need a really good quarterback. So I don't know about they could get the Joe Burrow and just switch up on the Bengals, and I think that's going to be something that's interesting, and I think that's what's going to happen. But Redskins deserve a really good quarterback, as well as I don't know, D-line. They definitely need to have a solid D-line. Maybe even an O-line. Who knows? Depending on how the free agency is going to go. But draft is going to be very interesting, especially for these two teams. Because every other team, they're going to be okay. They just need to do a few adjustments and they're going to be good. But Redskins, Bengals, and the Cardinals, I think these three teams are going to be heavily pursuing great players, great wide receivers, as well as great quarterbacks. So the third place is going to be Lions. The Lions are 3-12, and I think they're going to be. It's predictable. The prediction is going to be they're going to be getting a quarterback, Jeff Okudah. And I'm excited. It's going to be very interesting. Lions is a growing team that they have a lot of prospects. They're believing aspects of succeeding and being about, I think, 7-9. I think Lions are going to be 7-9 with whatever they're going to be doing. The number 4 is going to be New York Giants, right? New York Giants. They have 4-12. Eli Manning has been. He retired, as well as what's his name? Shaquan Barkley. Oh man, I'm so terrible at names. But the running back, I think he's been improving on his game. He's going to be staying healthy, and so it's going to be very interesting seeing New York Giants. Right? They're going to be most likely recruiting Isaiah Simmons, which is going to be interesting, but who knows? I think New York Giants, it depends. They have been so unpredictable, because I thought the New York Giants are going to be like 10-5. I'm sorry, well, 10-6, or 10-6 or 11-5, but unfortunately it wasn't like that, and so they ended up with 4-12. So it's going to be interesting. I think they're going to be 8-8 for this season. It could be even more so. I'm definitely excited for New York Giants. I'm a Cowboys fan, but New York Giants deserve this break with a new quarterback or whoever it needs to be. They definitely need a new quarterback. So we're gonna be on a lookout. Maybe in free agency something's gonna happen, but that's the idea. So now spot number 5, Dolphins, who have been 5-11, and this is gonna be interesting. So the quarterback, they want to recruit Tua Tagovailoa. I think I'm pronouncing it right, but it's predictable that Dolphins are going to be recruiting him. However, I think the New York Giants or Lions are going to be recruiting. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be going where. I think that if Dolphins recruit him, then Dolphins are going to be they need to change up their coaching. I don't think that coaching in Miami Dolphins is that great. I think they need to refresh their office, as well as allow the team to trust them. Especially last year, they had that whole hurricane situation going on, so they weren't able to be their best. But at the same time, I think it's the coaching. At 5-11, they can easily be 11-5. But who knows? We'll see. Chargers, number 6, right? Number 6 Chargers. It's gonna be they're predicted to draft quarterback Justin Herbert. Again, I think the Chargers, they already have Tyron Taylor, who they paid him $11 million for 2 years. And he's not necessarily a quarterback right now, but this is going to be on a lookout. They might need an extra quarterback, but they already have a backup quarterback and Tyrod Taylor, who's really good. And I think they need to invest not in a new talent, they need to invest in somebody who's been playing for a couple of years. Because Chargers is a team that they're not going to be refreshing their faces anytime soon. So they need to focus on that, as well as move to San Diego. They get out of there. Don't be in LA, because I think they're leasing right now the stadium from LA Rams, and which is fine. But the Chargers need to go back to San Diego, and San Diego deserves them. And I think that move is going to be affecting who's going to be on the team. I don't know how I don't know how I can make sense of it, but I think that's going to be a huge part. So they don't necessarily need another quarterback, but they need another running back or another wide receiver. So because Chargers are 5-11, and I think they can be much better. They can be in the playoff run if they play their cards right. Number 7, 7th spot is Panthers. Again, they're 5-11 as well. Panthers got Teddy Bridgewater, so they're not looking for a quarterback nor a wide receiver. I think they're pretty good on that. However, they're looking for a defensive tackle, and I think that's something maybe that they can improve on. As if they're going to be effective on their offensive line, then they need a really good defensive to make sure that they're not letting anybody in. So I think that Derek Brown is predicted to be number 7. And that's probably the first pick that makes sense. Apart from that's the very first pick that I'm like, yep, it makes sense. If they do it, I'm excited for them. What else do we have? We have Cardinals, number 8, Cardinals 5-10. I don't know. I've always been trash talking Cardinals because I think that there's so much potential, but unfortunately, it's for some reason. During the preseason, they're I would watch their documentaries or different shows that they're doing, about the kitchen and stuff like that, in their health and fitness part of it, and I'm really about trying to figure out okay, they look healthy, they're so focused on food, the players, and what's the problem? Why the Cardinals are struggling? But Cardinals with a 8th pick. 5-10. In it says predicted they're going to be offensive tackle, Kristen Wirfs. I think I'm pronouncing it right? But I don't know. We'll see. I think that as well makes sense. Cardinals definitely need to work on their offensive. Defensive doesn't matter right now. They need to work on their offense, and we'll see. We'll see. They definitely got DeAndre Hopkins, and he's going to be a wide receiver. Hopkins, I don't believe that he playing for the Houston. He didn't show that much. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, he definitely did a lot of. I'm like, no. He talked a lot more than he did, and I don't like the players who talk more than they do. They would be like, oh my gosh, you couldn't cover me, but they only got 2 touches. I'm like, please stop. Like that's enough. You did 2 carries. You caught the ball twice, and that's for 45 yards in total. So please don't talk to me. So. So I think the Cardinals are going to be something that's going to be improving their offensive line, right? So, the Panthers improve. The Panthers improving as well as the Cardinals. So that's going to be interesting. The Jaguars are going to be ninth pick. I'm sorry, Jaguars. It's 6-10. It's going to be interesting. I think that their offense has been quite well. I know that their defense has been amazing in the past 3-4 years. 3-4 years ago, 4 years ago, I think it was amazing, and I think they're trying to come back to that. And I think this is the season where they're going to be definitely improving that. So, Jaguars, it says that they're predicting to draft Jalen. I'm so terrible at these names. Javon Kinlaw. Let's pretend that he's from the Netherlands. I know Javon Kinlaw, right? Defensive tackle. I think it makes sense. I think that defensively, Jaguars have been trying to improve on again, and I think that's going to be with Gardner Minshew. There you go, Gardner Minshew. He is going to be excelling in the offense, and so running the ball or passing the ball, or who knows. It's going to be very interesting. That's the thing. I'm like, I don't want to give a definitive statement towards these teams because who knows what's going to happen. I can tell you my predictions, and I think the Jaguars are definitely going to be in the playoffs, but it all depends on, and like, you can have really good teams, but then them not really good players in those teams, but they could get injured or they're not able to sacrifice or something like that. So from where I'm sitting right now, I think Jaguars can make it to the playoffs, and I think that's going to be in the 10th pick of the Browns, 6-10, which they had so many good players, but unfortunately they're not able to deliver on that promise, right? And I definitely was looking forward to ever since they got Baker Mayfield, Daddy Baker. My friend and I, we've been looking forward to seeing him perform, and I think he did an amazing job in his first year, proving, and kind of like what Gardner Minshew did, proving themselves, and they did amazing. But then I think he's been in more commercials. Baker Mayfield has been in more commercials than highlight videos, and I don't like that because I think that maybe he wasn't giving himself the best. Maybe he was afraid to pass or something like that. Maybe who knows what happened, but he wasn't able to perform on that level. And a lot of people say it's the coaching's problem because they had the coaching. Freddie Kitchens, he wasn't able to deliver on the promises that he had. But it's gonna be right now. They had a coach from San Francisco who's gonna be I'm sorry, that's gonna be in the Vikings. Who's for the Browns? I can't remember. I need to look it up. But they're getting a new coaching. They already got a new coach, and it's going to be interesting to see them having a new coach. Competing and working together towards that goal. So it's going to be definitely interesting. I don't think the Browns are going to be as good. It's going to be 6-10 this year as well. Maybe 7-9, but 6-10 is going to be what I'm predicting. So, and that's it. Yeah, that's top 10 picks for draft. I think that, who knows, maybe some players are going to be dropped lower than that, but these are the top 10 that I've looked over or read over, and a lot of predictions say that these are the top 10 top 10 players that are going to be chosen for the draft. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because a lot of new quarterbacks coming into the league, and NFL is trying to do something that NBA has been doing for a while, and it's you're not banking on the team, you're banking on the players. The people are coming in and becoming fans of the teams because of the players, right? So I think that this is going to be something of people becoming fans of the quarterbacks rather than the team. And this is a strange phenomenon that's been happening with NBA, but I think this is where this draft is gonna be, because more and more new blood coming into NFL. And I'm 26, and you see these people run 4.5, 40-yard, under 4.5, 4.4, and who are like 18 and 19 and or even 20. And so people who are like so much younger than me right now, it's amazing to watch them play and perform and compete, especially. So it's going to be very interesting. Again, the draft 2020 is going to be set on April 23rd to 25th in Las Vegas. With the Rona situation, they still want to have those dates set for draft, but this is like information too late in the podcast, but they still want to do the draft, but it's going to be remote, where everybody's going to be, I guess, zooming in or like video call or something like that. So it's going to be a different aspect, a different view. But again, I'm not going to watch draft. I'm going to watch the consequences of the draft a couple of days after, because I'm not going to be sitting there waiting for teams to pick. That's their job. The 27th is when I'm going to look up who's going to be on the draft, and that's it. Because that's such a waste of time, right? But it's going to be interesting because to see which teams are going to be choosing who. And they're going to have 7 rounds, 255 picks. Huge prospects for this year, especially. And this is what I've been saying for the past week and a half, is I'm looking for the next Tom Brady of this draft. I feel like this draft is gonna have the next Tom Brady, 199th pick in the 6th round, and we're gonna see who's gonna be the next big shot, the next GOAT. The Bengals start off the draft, and the Giants are gonna finish the draft. Everything in between is gonna be chaotic, and people are gonna be, the teams are gonna be choosing who. I definitely will have a list of everybody who drafted really smart choices, and who I think is going to be a drastic change to the teams, as well as those who are 2-14, 3-13, as well as those who are 12-4, 13-3. I don't think anybody's 13-3, but no, there are. Sorry, the Ravens and the San Francisco as well. So anyway, so this is going to be very interesting. But I'll do my best to make sure this information is precise and concise as possible, and not just only talk about the information you can find online, but my opinion on that, because I do believe that you can find a lot of lists and drafts and everything that's going to be happening, but you don't see people talk about how the players are going to affect not just the teams but the cities especially, and not just the teams and the cities but the players especially. So just everything that's behind the financial aspect, and behind the teams, behind the city, because a lot of times, like, you can have an average team, but the fans are so supportive of that team. You can do a lot of good stuff, a lot of miracle stories. So it's gonna be very interesting. But I'm excited to see how things are gonna be played out. So that's my top 10 draft pick. I'm really looking forward to hearing an opinion, other views and stuff like that about it. But so far, I think that's it. Yeah. My one thing is I hope that Stephen A. Smith doesn't talk a lot about it, because I feel like he's going to be so against so many smart choices. And Skip Bailey, he's definitely going to be giving opinion about it. So it's gonna be interesting to hear other people's opinion. I'm looking forward to Pat McAfee and what he thinks and how he's gonna be talking about the new faces of the teams, the new faces of those 12 and 14 and 3 and 2 and 14 and 3 and 13. So I'm excited to see the future. I definitely believe I'm an optimist to see great bad teams succeed and good teams being great. I am in love with competition, but at the end of the day, it's what they decide and how they're going to be playing. And NFL is a sport that you want to support the player because you believe that they're doing this for the money. Obviously, they're doing this not necessarily for they might love the sport, but it's NFL is such a fierce and challenging sport that you know five seasons in the league, you want to make sure that you get a lot of money. But I love watching it. I love watching it. I will continue watching XFL, NFL, and right now AFL. And stay tuned for more information on that. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, subscribing, watching on YouTube and Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcast. That's been it. Thank you for watching and listening, and I'll talk to you in the next one. All right. Peace.